Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Saturday at 6 a.m. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me on the couch today, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, I'm excited to be here even though this has been refused classification.
Yeah, well, you know, we're some naughty motherfuckers, and I snort coke. And also on the couch this week, returning after 10 weeks, 10 episodes, Ciaran Marchant.
What the fuck happened to this couch? It's fucking snorting coke on it?
Yeah.
Not getting classifications?
We have to get that energy somehow.
I played DayZ. It taught me.
It taught you the way by playing DayZ.
Yeah, it taught me if I smoke marijuana, I'll run fast. So
you'll run faster? Just don't play GTA RP because you smoke crack to run faster in that game.
How's that allowed in Australia then?
I don't know.
Someone
don't know. But
better
yeah,
not
you
tell
pop
them.
the crack and then you run quicker than normal. Like you run as
pop
fast
the
as
crack.
a car. Yeah, you just pop the crack and you're like, you know how you pop crack, Ash? You do it on the streets of Brizzy.
No, I follow the rating system here in Australia and
Yikes.
I'm still on that PG stuff.
Yikes. Still on your PG stuff.
What's PG drugs? What do you
Weed? I got weed's PG.
You're like, weed's PG, I think, maybe.
No, it's probably just cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's
Have you
drugs.
smoked a cigarette ever, Ash?
No.
Have you indirectly smoked a cigarette?
No.
Really?
No, you have to. Everybody has indirectly smoked a cigarette. Like
Probably.
There's no way you can live in today's world and not have, like, just...
Have you ever been?
Less
Have you
people
ever
are
been
smoking, more people are vaping.
Have you ever been to Melbourne and walked down an alleyway? You've probably indirectly smoked a cigarette.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, this week on the show, Esports gets its first fixing scandal, heaps of interesting Australia-based gaming news, and the sad news of Game Informer layoffs, as well as we'll be discussing lots of games we've been playing and asking Ciaran what he's been doing. We'll all tie that in together.
Recuperating from seeing Dylan in person.
I mean, you can talk about it if you want. There's really not that much news happening this week, to be honest. So.
No, I'm just, getting my...
Main topic on our gaming podcast. That time I visited Dylan like a month ago.
I can tie it into like FIFA or something somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Let's start, though. The first news story, one that hits closely at home, comes from OzGamers.com. Overwatch on Nintendo Switch potentially confirmed by Accessory. Namely, an officially licensed Overwatch branded Nintendo Switch carry case approved for sale by both Nintendo and Blizzard. A retail release that quickly has its image removed after appearing online, as listed on Amazon. So the question then becomes, why release an Overwatch carry case if Overwatch ain't onto the Switch? The answer to that, and the one that makes the most sense, is that Blizzard is planning on bringing the game to the platform. Maybe, possibly, even though in the past it is stated that the Switch hardware might not be up to a task. So I'm pretty sure everyone can agree that this is all but confirmed at this point, because this is as far as leaks go, this is like, oh, whoops. This is
it's like a glowing neon sign and you're trying to stand in front of it.
Yeah.
Hide it.
It's the Switch case has the Overwatch logo, orange whatever outside part or whatever, and that's just black and whatever else, and it's got the Overwatch symbol on the inside and all this other sort of stuff. So Overwatch coming to Switch, Ciaran.
Well, it works on Xbox and like Xbox and console. I'm always amazed that it works on console. But they have to change the game to make it work on console, which is weird. So, if it's on Switch, it's on Switch. I've seen, these days you got everything on the Switch. You can do whatever you want with the Switch.
Would you play it on
you're going to be playing League of Legends on the Switch? No,
I don't think that works. I can
that's
understand how
possible.
Overwatch works, but
well, yeah, it's like a first-person shooter.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they have to change characters again, specifically for the Switch version, to make it easier for them. I don't know.
Ash?
Well, they're not the most complex characters. I mean,
well, the thing is, so the version of the game on the Xbox and PlayStation 4 is different to the version of the game that's on PC. So characters are changed because they're more powerful on Xbox and PC. Like, character Torbjorn has a turret that auto-attacks, and that actually does less damage on the console version than it does on the PC version, because on the PC version, it just does a lot less because players are able to react to it a lot easier than on the console version.
Yeah, so you would expect the Xbox PlayStation version would be the Switch
Yeah,
equivalent.
it would be that
graphically downgraded.
console graphically downgraded a bunch. I'm just wondering, it'd be interesting to see because I couldn't imagine playing it in handheld mode. That's just me.
Not well.
I don't know. Not well. Like, I don't know. It'd be interesting.
I mean, he's getting Witcher 3. So anything is
getting
possible.
Witcher 3. It's like getting like a caricature of Witcher 3.
What offline modes are there in Overwatch?
Like none?
Well, there has to be something
Like-
surely for the Switch version.
No, like there's literally, you can do the training. No, not even the training range is offline because the training range joins a server. Yet nothing's offline on Overwatch.
To me, I put it in the same category as when they announced, like, last year when that Dragon Ball Z fighting game came to the Switch, and people were like, "Well, it's not going to be my like go-to place to play it, but I can take it on the go to practice."
Yeah, you can take it on the go. People can, hang around at PAX and play games. People who play console won't feel any difference. It'll just look a bit jankier.
Will it be crossplay? That's the thing.
I doubt it.
If
Because
not,
I don't think.
how is there going to be a player base for it?
Well, there probably won't be a player base for it, unless you trick your 9 or 10-year-old with a Switch and be like, "Hey, that Overwatch game you play with your mates on their PlayStation or on their computers, have it on your Switch," and then it's just jank.
Well, if they had bots.
Maybe that's how they like we had the whole thing with when PlayerUnknown Battleground came out on mobile. There was bot games everybody was playing, and games were populated with bots. I wouldn't see that as terrible, but then you have to program AI. Oh, I guess they've already got the programming done. Yeah, I guess
Just
bots
take
would
all
work.
the data from your pro players and make the
You
AI
just
learn.
let OpenAI.
You just make
learn
an AI
Overwatch.
watch all these Overwatch games. Then you
Well,
make
there's
it
like
play
a
it.
thing.
That's
There's
how,
a thing.
That's how the AI works, right?
There's an OpenAI that learns Dota 2, and they test it every year for Dota 2. And what the person came out with in the last year, since it was last tested, that this AI has played the equivalent of 45,000 years worth of Dota 2.
Is it any good?
That's as much as old mate down the road.
In a year's difference, it beat one of the best teams in the world. After last year, it didn't go so well. It's
getting too old.
It's getting too smart.
Too smart for its own good. So look out for Overwatch coming to Switch, announced soon.
I did see an interesting fan theory that the reason this is being pushed at the moment is Trace is going to be added to Smash Brothers.
Oh,
Do you reckon there's any truth to that? Could there be a possibility?
I think she would probably be one of the worst characters to add to Smash Brothers. Like, she's not really all she uses her pistols, and I would understand like maybe a character like maybe Genji, who uses story stars, who has a dash attack, who uses his sword, who could be more realistic to do combos and stuff, where Tracer is just blinking and shooting and throwing a pulse bomb. Like, I can't see her doing combos and stuff to be involved in Smash. That would be kind of weird. I think there's other characters in the game, but the problem is they're not so much like you've got Tracer.
They're not Tracer. Tracer's the de facto mascot, pretty much.
Is the cover girl of Overwatch, and I don't see her fitting the Smash kind of style of gameplay or character models.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it because I can't see Smash fans at all being happy with that. Like the amount of people would be who would be happy with Tracer and Smash, I believe, would be like such a small couple percent probably. Like whatever character they add last for Smash is probably gonna, some people will be happy, some people will be angry, some people will thought it'd be wish at someone else. But I feel like Tracer is just so majority is going to be like, no. Like, out of all the characters we've asked for, no, it wasn't fucking Tracer. So, yeah, I don't see that being a thing at all.
Yeah, that'd be a weird kind of left, like a swerve.
Okay, so next story comes from GameIndustry.biz. A bit of a sad one from, I think it happened like literally after we recorded last week, but I still wanted to talk about it this week. Game Informer lays off many staff. Game Informer has undergone a round of layoffs according to a handful of of new and now former employees. West Coast news editor Imran Khan, senior associate editor Kyle Hillard, and associate editor Cyril Vanquez all posted on Twitter that they had been let go. Another laid-off employee posted on private social media account that they had lost their job along with many others. As of writing, Game Informer and parent company Gamestop had not responded to requests for comment. The website's layoff page lists 19 people and had not been updated to reflect that yet. And then this comes, of course, as they note here, after already GameStop trimmed the brand back as it shuttered Game Informer Australia back in April this year. At the time of its shutdown, Game Informer Australian editor Dave Milner said readership for the magazine was up 19% year over year, even if ad sales had not kept up. Then they've got two updates to the story. Game Informer managing editor Matt Burtz has confirmed that he was also among those laid off. And then update two, the layoffs at Game Informer appeared to be part of a wide swaths of layoffs affecting a total of 120 positions at GameStop across multiple offices, eliminating 14% of the company's total workforce. So, in case you don't know, for some reason, anyone listening, Game Informer is owned by GameStop, like parent company, and you say that and most people are like, yeah, of course, still we all know this, but I would still constantly see tweets about people always complaining about there being GameStop ads inside Game Informer magazines, and try like ads for collector's editions and stuff, and I'd be like, they own the that's like it was the exact same here. Of course, EB Games adverts were always inside Game Informer magazines here, and that's how it worked out, of course. So it works out to be apparently roughly about half of Game Informer's staff in America has been let go. Imran Khan has since been picked up by Kind of Funny, although this story doesn't represent that, but he's now working at Kind of Funny as a part-time,
one of the rotating
hosts now. And
which is, I guess, good timing because obviously they're about to lose Andrew and Renee. Yeah, just moving back to LA. So
I would 100% presume that to be a fill-in position for him, because I don't think, as much as he's good on podcast and he like can talk and he have fun and whatever else, I would say that his heart is still in writing and actual journalism, whatever, that sort of area. So I reckon he would still be on the lookout for getting enough position there. So there's two angles to take this story. Firstly, GameStop cutting positions not only back in Australia early in the year, and now they're cutting down in the American side of things, and there have been reports year after year about how GameStop sales had been going down quite significantly. So I think this is just all a telling sign of how the physical world is slowly crumbling somewhat. At least game sales, and most of these stores, especially like I walk into my local EB Games year after year, the section at the back, which used to be, when Zing got involved, the Zing section used to be this kind of small back end corner when that happened, and now the Zing stuff's pretty much half the store. Like every year it just creeps bigger and bigger and bigger, and then the Zing stuff just kind of takes off because that's where they're making all their money now. They're not making their money on game sales, really. It's all pop vinyls, collectibles, statues, fucking whatever, Captain America's shields, replicas, all this random shit they fucking have in now.
To be fair, games take up less space, and they can put a lot of that behind. They just need to put up one case on the wall.
Well, technically, no, they don't. Sell. No, because if in business there's still something about making your shop look like it is busy, and part of making your store look like it's busy is having stock on shelves. You can't, if you look at a place, if you look, there's a chance where if you look at a game and there's either like the case is gone or there's only one copy of that game, it's gonna, it can detract from people thinking, well, maybe it's not a very good game because they haven't ordered heaps of them. Even that's why they do the whole thing where they put in blank covers to make it look like the games are stacked when really it's like 2 or 3 at the front. It's more of a perception thing than an actual, than actually having full shelves.
But they only have like 2 or 3 copies of any game.
But that's still 2 or 3, and then as soon as one gets taken away, they add that one back generally. Yeah.
So for any new releases, they only need a smaller section than they probably used to.
But the problem then is that EB Games, up until this point where they started using, or GameStop, up until this point where they've started putting in Zing stuff, their primary moneymaker was pre-owned games.
Yeah.
And pre-owned games, you have to be able to show what is there.
That's true.
You have to show what's physically there. Those sections are getting smaller, and they are starting to get put in, like, I know the EB Game Store here puts them in like the bins in the middle, so it's more of just like it gets a mess. And
that's how mine is.
Yeah. Like,
I think that's how most stores are now.
Point. Yeah, it's getting to that point where it's just bins like in the middle of the store. But it's always interesting, and I don't, I think I have been well documented in my time of podcasting previously that how I feel about brick and mortar stores and my opinion about where they're going. I think Game Informer is like another one of these examples where I'm like, how can Game Informer keep up with IGN, GameSpot, like Kotaku, where they can release stories on the day they come out? Like,
well,
they have
to be fair, they have a website. They do post.
Yep.
They do post daily news stories. They do post YouTube video content. They do post a weekly video podcast. They do a lot of online stuff. They still continue the magazine, and the magazine was more, I guess, feature stuff at most time that, wouldn't be time constrained, and then it would contain a bunch of reviews, but you could still read those reviews earlier anyway. So,
and like, there's not, you take away the difference between option A, which is I publish this editorial I've just done on this game on my website within 10-15 minutes of it being confirmed as being allowed to go up, or organizing a time to do it, or we have to organize manufacture of the physical copies of Game Informer. We have to organize what else is going to go in it. Do we have enough to make up a full magazine? Then we need to organize, delivery and shipping of that. I think there's a lot of cost constraints around physical magazines that it makes it almost an obvious choice for many organizations to, go online and use online as their main way of communicating their news and stories.
I think I partake in a fair share of Game Informer coverage. And when the magazine was out in Australia, right? Because we still can buy the magazine here. It's just the American version now. They've just been replaced. When the Australian version was out, for the first year or so, for the first 2 years, I probably had a subscription, and I eventually canceled that because I wasn't reading as much. And then I kind of cherry picked what stuff I would read. When we talked about the Australian version of Game Informer being shut down, I thought that was sad. Obviously, because it was kind of one of the only big Australian outlet. Like there was only a couple. There was a small amount of people working there in the Australian section, sure, but we don't have many actual quote unquote proper games journalism outlets inside Australia. So it was kind of sad to see going. But I have similar thoughts about the American one shutting down as Australian one, which is that I actually don't like seeing all these proper game journalism places shutting down. I don't like seeing them all shut down. As much as it's weird to say, of course, because we're here, explosionnetwork.com, it's like independent creator, whatever shit, fucking whatever you want to call whatever we're trying to do, right? So we're the complete opposite of this. However, I'm saying I actually want to see these places stick around. I don't want them to go, and I don't want all small people like us to suddenly overtake them. I would like to see a nice mix, because I'm afraid of a world where all these outlets like this disappear, and then everyone's fucking reading the news from some screaming YouTuber who doesn't have any of the details right about something, and they're fucking complaining. You know what I mean? Like, I'm afraid of this reality, as much as people might be like, well, that's crazy, Dylan. That's not going to happen. And I'm like, but is it crazy? Is it crazy? Most people, like most young kids these days, where do they get all their gaming news from? It's from some YouTuber, right? Stuff like that. They're like, oh, the games journalists are SJWs, and they're paid off and all this sort of stuff. That's the story that they tell, and that's why they don't pay attention to all these proper outlets and stuff, and that's why they only watch YouTube and stuff. I definitely want a world where both can coexist, but every time I see this stuff happen, I'm like, I'm not going to celebrate the death of legit games journalism. It doesn't make me
I
happy.
think it's magazines as a whole. I don't know if, from what I've noticed, is the magazine sections of your shopping centers, like your Coles and your like Woolies and places where like those magazine sections are getting smaller and smaller. Like there used to be whole aisles where it would just be magazines, and now it's like a couple of shelves on the aisle in part of like the confectionery or office supply section. I think it's just magazines as a whole being slow.
Ash, do you have any thoughts on magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who's worked in a job that involved magazines for several years, yeah, they have been cutting back. There's been several magazines that have been cut, like long-standing ones that have been cut like in the last 4 or 5 years. Probably the one that comes to mind that probably isn't super relevant to this is the Burke's Backyard magazine. Was out for decades, and that just got cut suddenly. That one always sticks to mind because it had a great final cover of a gnome with an axe in his head. So.
Oh, good.
I just think it's like the magazines are just too slow for how the general public consumes media nowadays.
Well, it just depends on the content.
Yeah.
Certain things magazines will sell. Informational, like stuff, evergreen kind of stuff.
Yep.
Playboy.
Or yeah. Yep.
And tell me I'm wrong.
You know, like history magazines and that kind of stuff. People keep buying that.
But
stuff about the freaking royals. They want everything about them.
Is that because that is an older demographic that are buying those
I think that is also
though?
a massive...
Yeah, like it's an older demographic that's purchasing them now.
There's like a gazillion car magazines and that kind of thing. That's always going to be there.
Yeah, but that's car stuff.
I know.
Well, I can tell you
It doesn't make sense.
the only people who buy newspapers from me at my work are old people.
Yeah, like it's just because they're stuck in a way of this is how I consume my information is because that's how they've always done it. Where we're getting to a point where our generations are coming through to be the late 20s, early 30s, and we're online. It's Dylan, even you who loves Game Informer, stopped buying Game Informer. You still transitioned and you still consume. You consume all of your game news from your phone or your computer.
Yes, I still did buy the magazine sometimes though, because
but not consistent. But not consistently. You pick and choose what you want.
I pick and choose based on the cover story.
Yeah.
Though
I will say Game Informer has some of the best cover art, like just in general. I really like how their design is.
Back in the day, I think I threw them all out, disappointingly. I kind of wish I had them now, obviously. But back in the day, I think I had issues like 1 through to, I don't know, 40 or 50. I don't know, like 30 or something. I don't know. And I had multiple covers, like they put out multiple for Arkham City, got all those. Multiple for Bioshock, got all those. Just brought them all to have them all extra and then chucked them out a couple of years later. What a good use of time. Anyway, that's sad to hear, of course. All right, so next thing, I don't know how much there is to discuss about, but I think it's worth just talking about for a hot second because it is interesting. Comes from Kotaku. South Australia announces $300,000 fund for video games. The Australian states might be several years behind the 8 ball when it comes to how video games are classified. Boom from fucking Alex Walker here writing. But the good news here is that they're getting more and more on the front foot when it comes to funding their development into South Australia. The state, which plays home to several cracking game developers and visual effects studios, including Mighty Kingdom and Hollow Knight developers, Team Cherry, announced Thursday afternoon the creation of a $300,000 innovation fund exclusive for video games, serious games, the music industry, and AR/VR development. Projects will be able to earn up to $25,000 in funding per project, which with grants going towards releasing, quote, new games intended for public release to global audiences, including educational games, narrative and non-narrative format games, and serious games, whatever that means. South Australia...
I love that they keep bringing up serious games.
Serious games. It's like, what is a serious game?
I don't know. Not Steam anime porn, whatever that's not a serious game.
That can be serious.
No. The fund will also provide funding to developers working on new versions of existing games and franchises, as long as the original IP is owned by the company or developer in South Australia. The fund, which is accepting submissions from today, will also pay for 15 South Australian developers to attend Game Connect Asia Pacific Conference in Melbourne, the Australian equivalent of GDC, which takes place days before PAX. So that's during Melbourne International Games Week, obviously. All grants will be passed by a panel of 8 people with the board, featuring members from South Australian Film Corporation, the Media Resource Centre, Mighty Kingdom's Director of Business Development Partnerships, and Chief Executives, blah, 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 blah. So it's now one. So Victoria has one, South Australia has one, Brisbane, Queensland has one, I think.
I don't believe so.
No, we don't. Someone else does. I know Victoria has a grant. South Australia now has a grant. Somewhere else has a grant, I think, too.
I thought WA.
Maybe it is WA then. Maybe it's those 3 places. Either way, several places are now getting on board in Australia and giving out these grants for funding, which is good because we talked about it at the start of the year briefly, obviously, when the election was happening, the Australian election, how the current government, well, the government that got voted in, disappointingly, has zero fucks to give towards funding the games industry within Australia. The opposition was going to put money towards funding that. So it's still good to see that even though at a base government level, we're not going to get much support, that's still on a state-by-state basis. It seems that different states are slowly coming on board with actually putting money into what is the biggest, if not in some cases, the biggest industry, and in other cases, the second, I guess, to fucking movies. Either way, one of the biggest upcoming industries in the world, in a world where we see this fucking 9-channel news story or whatever that was going around on Twitter a couple of days before this, where that kid, the Australian kid, won the Dota championship or whatever it was, and all these they're doing the news stories like, oh my god, he's won more money than fucking tennis players and stuff, and people are like still shocked. Meanwhile, all of us who have been like the Dota championship has always had like shit ton of money as the prize pool. It's been like that since day fucking dot. It's always had that much money though. It never started small. It was always like $1 million, $2 million. Fucking have a trillion.
The thing is, Dota comes from a point where they crowdfund everything. So like this year's prize pool started at 1.6 million and finished at 34 million.
Yeah, by crowdfunding, it's not like direct crowdfunding. It is like the season pass or whatever.
Yeah, they're buying stuff in game to put towards the
prize money.
The prize pool.
Yeah. Which is cool. Yeah. But it's like in a world where we're seeing this stuff and people are still getting surprised, it's like, yeah. And then they're like tying in, they're like, oh, and the Melbourne Esports thing's coming up and there's going to be a bunch of people there. Yeah. Like I know we shouldn't be surprised, but I'm still consistently surprised still how niche people think that the video game industry is. Be that from esports to just game development in general, especially when you see that GTA 5, which of course sits at the top of the best-selling charts week by week in Australia, is actually like, when you look at the money that's made and the copies sold, it's going to beat any fucking movie that's like. I would actually, someone do the figures of that versus Endgame. I would be highly surprised if they're not fucking close or something like that. Or one GTA probably fucking beats it. Wouldn't surprise me, because that's how big the video game industry is. So yeah, I'm happy to see that South Australia is getting a fund. That's cool, especially, you know, Team Cherry from there. Go over there, make some more games, do what you need to do. Awesome.
Is it a bit of me saying, like, is it, I don't know what the right word is, but is it overstepping of me to say it's not very much money?
It's not very much money.
Like, it's not very much money at all.
Not
like,
in the grand scheme.
It's not
in the grand scheme of things. Like, that doesn't even, like, say $25,000 per project. That doesn't buy, like, that doesn't even pay somebody's salary to work on the game.
No.
Or anything. Like, it would help. Money helps. Like, don't get me wrong, but
if you get a $25,000 fund for your game, you are pretty much, it pretty much, I suppose,
it's a huge leg up.
Well, it's a leg up for sure. It's a big.
That's like someone can work for you for 6 months.
Yeah, or you
like,
and most of these teams, of course. Let's remember, most of these teams are 2 or 3 people. No, we are game developers, so I'm kind of just putting it together in my head like a puzzle.
Yeah.
But in my mind, if most of these teams are 2-3 people, right, $25,000 grant, you can either say, hey, one person just doesn't work, or you have money to afford, because you discuss it as a team, we'll use this money to travel to go to conferences to help learn things. We'll put this into educating ourselves better. We'll put this into programs. We'll actually use this money so all of us only have to work part-time instead of full-time, and then we can use that money and pay ourselves a salary to work on this job for as another part-time job. I feel like there's different ways you could use it. It just depends on how you would use it yourself.
Use it smartly.
You know, if you're one person making a game and you get the fund, then I think the $25,000 you have a lot more leeway to go over it. But you are right in the grand scheme of things that the $300,000 isn't actually that much, really. And of course, hopefully in the future, years from now, this is up there with the film grants that a lot of places across Australia get. But film in Australia is accepted as a much bigger industry,
art form,
whereas the video game industry is still considered this niche thing. That's why our government does
films are considered important for cultural reasons.
Yes.
That's why they get more funding.
Yes. But we need video games to be up there in the same, level with films and whatever else. It's all an art form. It's all the same sort of thing. So, and if anything, there's probably, at the moment, there's a real budding indie scene within Australia for games, I feel so. And it's like there's not enough money to help push
fund everybody.
Fund everyone that's there, which is, and it's not always going to be the case. You can't fund everyone, but at the same time, I feel like we, the government could, if we voted the right government in. Anyway, next story is an interesting one. So, press start says Microsoft has announced Gears Inc., a massive event that's coming to Melbourne on September 5th from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It's free, but tickets are limited. You'll need to register via the link they've got here. By the time you're listening to this, I would highly doubt any tickets are available, to be honest. Those that attend the event will have the chance to get a Gears tattoo, but if that's not your thing, you also get a haircut with the Gears symbol shaved into your fade. If tattoos and haircuts aren't your thing, you'll be able to display Gears of War. You'll also be able to play Gears of War 5 before it launches the next day. So, of course, 2K...
Interesting that's the third thing.
You can play games if you want.
I guess. If you don't want tattoos or you don't want haircut.
Well, yeah.
We've got the game, I guess.
You know what? Honestly, Gears
That's
is
just how much they don't care about Gears.
Gears is
That's
like one of
third
the...
tier. Third
Gears
billing.
is like one of the actual franchises that I have pondered getting a tattoo for.
Well, hold pause, because I was going to ask this question. I was going to
Okay.
lead to this. We're going to ask.
Okay.
But,
do your host job.
But first, Bethesda did this early in the year. In case you all don't remember, with Rage. This is where this started. So now it's apparently becoming a thing. Free tattoo events. That Bethesda event must have done so well that Xbox in Australia was like, well, fuck, we'll do our own event. Sure, why not? So it must have done very well PR-wise. So I find it quite interesting. This one's in Melbourne, though. The other one was in Sydney. And I know a lot of people I saw online responding to the Bethesda one were like, well, fuck, I would actually fly if it was in Melbourne, but I'm not planning to fly to Sydney because fuck that shit. Like, the only people who were going were like people who live in Sydney. So at least this one's in Melbourne. And then, yes, that does beg the question when I read this story, since it's becoming a thing apparently. I was like, what video game event could you ever do that you would actually make you consider wanting to go and get a tattoo? Now, Ciaran, you're saying that this is your one. This could be the one.
No, not the one, but it's one of the ones that I've getting a tattoo is something I've always seriously considered, and then I'm a chicken, so I haven't ever kind of pushed myself into doing it. But like Gears is one of the ones that I've always seriously considered. Like, I really like the artwork around the cog symbols. I really like just the general aesthetic of Gears. If you watch Achievement Hunter content, like Michael Jones has the cog on his arm, and anybody I see get a tattoo of Gears is fucking awesome, and I'm always really impressed with it. And you know what? I think it's more of a thing to be like, these people are going to be at this event to draw Gears tattoos. Like, it's not just some random tattoo artist that you don't know, that you probably might have never heard of Gears. They've actually probably done some research, done some work on it, maybe done some testing. Sounds like a good way to get a decent tattoo, like a good tattoo of artwork if you really love the game.
Yeah. The thing that always comes up with this, of course, is like you are kind of giving your body away as free promotion. Is the
free
thing.
advertising?
Yeah. It's free advertising.
Yeah.
However, I guess that does even out. It's like if you're a big fan, it is free. You literally have a chance to get a free tattoo for a series you like. Now, the thing I like more about this Gears one that I didn't like so much about the Rage one, and I found iffy about the Rage one, I was like, Rage 2 is basically a reboot. You know, it's a new property, and people are getting tattoos. I'm like,
Do you really love Rage that much to have
exactly. I was like,
a tattoo on your body?
Really love Rage that much. However, with the Gears one, it's into its 5th game. This one I can actually kind of understand a lot more, where the people turning up, well, obviously there's such history of that. There's such a fan base for that franchise that this one actually makes a lot more sense to me than the Rage one, that's for sure. Ash, is there any...
FIFA.
No, I've never thought. I think I said it to my friend recently. I've got this really cool clean cut look that I think someone will like eventually.
Eventually, Ash. Oh no!
Yeah,
that's oh, buddy.
No, I think it like maybe from Uncharted, like the Civ Parvis manga. Magnus, whatever it is, from Great Small Beginnings, or maybe like the blue shell from Mario Kart.
So with the Uncharted, you just become a typical kind of funny fan.
Yeah.
Why
don't you get Rainbow Road done on your back of your neck?
Just like the whole map.
I don't want to steal Nick.
No, that's Nick. Nick should get like the map of Rainbow Road 64
just on his back. He's like Michael from fucking Prison Break, but it's just the Rainbow Road.
Would you get any done, Dylan?
Yeah, I feel like there would be like I feel like there's a few. Honestly, I feel like the only reason I have no tattoos, and it's not that I'm super. I'm not like a chicken about them. My problem is actually just commitment. Like I've thought about them consistently, but anytime I'm like, and sometimes I'm like, that's a good fucking idea. You sit on it for like a couple days, and then I'm like, it's terrible. But I'm like,
like I need to like consistently love the idea for a long period of time before I go, put it on me. Like I'd have to like even have like a picture of it done and stick the picture of it on the wall, and every day for like a year look at it and be like, I'd be okay with looking at that.
Yeah, I actually feel like this kind of random event would actually be a good way to just be like, fuck it. Like,
just be like, fuck it, let's go. Like, what franchise would you get to?
I don't know. I feel like if they'd done one for Kingdom Hearts 3, maybe I'd done that.
Okay, Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah. Would you do like a Pokemon one?
Maybe. Depends if it would have to be like early Pokemon. It couldn't be like if they were doing like a Sword and Shield event and they're like, here, have the start of some Sword and Shield. But I'm like, I can't remember their fucking names. You got Grookey, Lukey, and Doopy over here. Like, what am I? I have no attachment to them. But
but if somebody came up to you at the Pokemon event and was like, would you like the Shield legendary Pokemon or the Sword legendary Pokemon?
Definitely the Shield.
We fucking know which one would be chosen. It would be the Sword one.
Can you do the sword one with but can you do the tattoo so it has the sword on the ground to represent how it can pick it up and put it down when it wants to eat? Can that be possible, tattoo artist? Is that a thing that we can do?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's is that not a thing that no. Honestly, I
cut that piece of your skin out.
I honestly feel like all the gaming ones that I would consider getting would be all stuff that I played like it would all be attachments from like when I was younger. Like I can't think of anything recent that I'd show. It's all like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 10. Like all these fucking JRPGs and shit that I played as a kid where I'd be like, yeah, I can get that, I guess. Like it's so funny because as much as I play a lot of games like over the last whatever amount of years of my life, last 10 years of my life, I guess, like there's heaps of franchises I love, sure. But I honestly don't feel I feel nowhere near as strong attachment to any franchises over the last 10 years that I do from when I was a kid. Like the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts and these sorts of things. Like I like the Infamous franchise quite a lot. Would I want a Cole tattoo? No, not really. I like the Resistance franchise a lot. Would I want like the Resistance skull? Not really. Like... there's not strong enough attachment there. When I go to movies, it gets easier. I get Star Wars and just a million Star Wars ideas come to my mind, but other stuff.
Fuck you.
All right.
I get the white spider maybe from Spider-Man.
That doesn't ruin your clean cut look.
The white spider. So you could one day pretend you've gone to a tattoo artist, come back and be like, yeah, it's on me. Yeah, you can.
With my complexion, you'd be able to tell.
All right. So next thing comes from Bleeding Cool. It says Mixer announces a new creator program of Xbox Game Pass. So I'm going to read this bit. But firstly, I would like to know, I pretty much said that this should happen like a couple weeks ago. Not to say I'm fucking God, but I am God. So this quote directly from the blog post here says, we consistently hear from gamers that streamers' content helps motivate them to discover their next favorite game, whether it's the latest AAA release, a puzzling indie platform, or even a must-play classic. It's why we first built Mixer Direct Purchase back in 2018, allowing partners to earn from game and DLC sales on their Mixer channel. At Mixer, we support rewarding creators for the recommendations they make as well as their gameplay. Today, with Xbox Game Pass, we're excited to expand the way creators can earn on Mixer with a new program. Mixer partners will receive $3 compensation for every new member that joins Xbox Game Pass and credits their channel with a code. How does this work? New Xbox Game Pass members or existing members upgrading to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will have 30 days from the start of their membership to enter a Mixer partners code into Xbox app on PC or the Xbox Game Pass app on iOS or Android, and then they will get credited. So it's similar sort of thing that the Epic Creators program currently has set up.
The Fortnite code.
Yeah, the Fortnite code thing, I guess. But yeah, I was kind of hinting at this kind of being a thing when I was talking about Game Pass and whatever else happening, because it kind of made sense to me, especially when I was talking about the Ninja Mixer stuff and all this, and how Mixer's obviously trying to up its game, I guess, to pun intended, to get more attention. And obviously they spent a shit ton of money on bringing Ninja over there, and we was discussing how what other ways Xbox could go about getting other people to come over there and these sorts of things. And I think this is just another step in the right direction of continuing to build that platform in a way that they basically get their streamers to aggressively market Mixer more than they already were, because now they're going to really want people to go over there because you're going to be getting money. Now you're going to get people to put these links into all their tweets and whatever else, like people do with the Epic Games thing. You always hear people on if you listen to any podcast where someone's an Epic Games creator or whatever they're called, they're always like, if you buy the game, use my code. So, yeah. Ciaran, what do you think of this?
Well, it's just, I'm surprised it's taken this long for them to do it, just because I'm surprised they just haven't seen what Twitch Prime did for Twitch and just apply that to a system that they already run, Game Pass, and use it to support their creators and bring people to Mixer. I feel like they have had the ability to do it for so long, and even then, I would love it if it reads as if it's like a one-time thing, like the first time you upgrade, you do it, whereas Twitch Prime is every month that you're paying for Twitch Prime, you're able to do that, which I think is a better way to, empower people. I don't like the faces Ashley's pulling here.
No, continue your point.
Okay, I feel like I'm scared. And then I think it's like a double win, because you are getting, just like Twitch streamers started advertising, if you've got Twitch Prime, did you know you get a free sub? Like doing that thing every time and trying to get people to get on Twitch Prime and get Amazon Prime. You can do the same thing with Game Pass, and I think there's very much a like-for-likeness that can be done there.
Ash, what are you thinking over there?
The reason they're not going to do a monthly, it's a one-off, is because they're not making enough money to be able to afford doing that with Game Pass.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not going to last forever.
I don't believe so, Ash.
All I hope for is that people aren't giving their $3 to Ninja. That's all we can pray for, right?
Kids will be.
He's already getting paid.
Kids will be.
No, they're gonna. They're gonna get his subscription,
sad.
his code, ads. That dude is so rich. That dude just signed a fucking deal with Adidas.
Yeah.
I mean,
the only reason they're doing it now is because people actually know what Mixer is after they sign Ninja.
I suppose.
So,
it's just much with the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and all this sort of stuff. A lot of this stuff to me is just Xbox and Microsoft, whatever, however you want to word it. They're moving their chess pieces around, so when the board resets before the next generation, they they're in a position they're ready for that next generation. That's all this stuff is to me. It's just getting ready for the next generation stuff. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Xbox Game Pass, these services, Mixer, all this stuff. It all just says that this is what's going to be important for Xbox going into the next generation. It's going to be Mixer, it's going to be the Game Pass, it's going to be this ecosystem where you're going to subscribe and you're going to have access to this. You can subscribe to this, you get Mixer, watch your people while doing the things. You'll fucking play games. You'll probably be able to do the whole Google Stadia thing, I presume, on Xbox, where you watch someone on Mixer. If they're playing a game that you like, you can probably buy the game there. They get their share of it. It downloads in the background. When it's done downloading, you boot it straight up, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's probably...
We already do that.
Well, there you go. So...
There you go.
Yeah, they already do that.
I've already thought of it before you even said it, Dylan.
I think the hardest thing that they have is, for Microsoft, is the people... So you almost want the people that are already at Twitch to come over and say, hey, come this way. But I have this mental either stigmatism when it comes to Mixer, where I read the word Mixer like I did when I looked at our show notes today, and my brain goes, gross. Like, I've had people like, oh, join me on Mixer, and I'm like, yuck, I don't want to go watch Mixer. And like, it's I don't know, it's how I've been conditioned, because I've been a Twitch user for a decent portion of my life now. That I think they've got a hard task ahead of them.
They do, and I don't think
Twitch is trying to help them. Twitch is trying to help them with some of the shit they're doing.
Twitch
lately,
is doing a lot of terrible things, but the thing I've spoken about things from Mixer, which is everyone treats them like they can do no wrong at the moment, but wait until they do. But like the thing with Mixer and Twitch to me is it's much like YouTube and any other video service. I just have YouTube. That's all I want. That's my one YouTube app. If people moved from YouTube, because YouTube shit, right? We all know YouTube shit. YouTube's got a million problems. If a bunch of people I've subscribed to we're moving to Vimeo or something, I'd be like, all right, I guess I'm not watching these anymore. There's no creator that I watch currently on YouTube that I would be willing to download a different app and subscribe on something else to watch them. You know?
It would have to take,
the
for me, it would have
Explosion
to take... Oh, God. It would have to take an entire game that I loved watching. Say if Overwatch one day picked up and went, we don't want Overwatch on Twitch anymore. Overwatch can only be found on Mixer. Then I would move to Mixer.
It definitely would have to take a lot of big moves like that for something to happen.
Yeah.
But I just feel like people like to point out, like, oh, you have Facebook and Twitter and so on your phone and these sorts of things. I'm like, it's not the same comparison to me. Like, those have different uses, and to a lot of people, including myself, they're completely different. They're nowhere near the same. But Twitch and Mixer are just the same fucking thing when it comes down to it. It's just gameplay streaming, live streaming. Good-o. There's not enough. If anyone I watch on Twitch moved, I will not start Mixer. I don't have a Mixer account. Well, I suppose I do technically, right? Would I have a Mixer account?
Yeah, I think you technically do, because you have an Xbox account.
Okay, well, I have a Mixer account, but I'm not downloading an app, all right? Because get fucked. How do you like them apples? Australian police make arrest as part of an investigation into esports match fixing. This story is super interesting to me because it is the first of its kind, which is super interesting. And it took place in Australia because we're a bunch of fucking criminals. So it comes from Game Sutra. Australian police have arrested 6 men as part of an ongoing investigation into esports match fixing and warned they plan to take any allegations of criminal activity within the industry very seriously. The investigation is one of the first of its kind by Victorian police and began in March 2019 after a betting agency informed the unit about suspicious activity it spotted on a recent Counter-Strike Global Offensive tournament. The company told the authorities that players had been arranging to throw matches before subsequently placing bets on those games. It's currently believed that at least 5 matches were affected at the tournament, impacting over 20 bets. A press release from Victoria Police explains that all 6 arrests were made after detectives from the Sporting Integrity Intelligence Unit, along with detectives from Organised Crime Intelligence Unit, executed warrants at a number of properties. All of those who were arrested were aged between 19 and 22 and have since been released pending further inquiries. Anyone that eventually found guilty could face up to 10 years imprisonment. So, the first of its kind, of course, this sort of thing still happens in sports, some fashions, I guess, but it's not super common anymore for obvious reasons, because it's career ending and also can cop you a huge amount of fines and jail time and what goes forth. In my mind, I guess these people thought that esports industry isn't big enough to ever get caught for this sort of thing, so they were like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's go for it." But got proved that wrong. What do you make of this game?
I'd love to know how or who had to convince the police officers that were doing this that this was a serious matter. Like how, like, what was the conversation? Because obviously, even if they're sporting, it doesn't mean they have any kind of recollection or understanding of esports in a serious matter.
Well, to me, it means that Counter-Strike or like they must have a list of games that are considered like actual esports. You know what I mean?
They have. I think there is a list somewhere of what's considered an esport. I can't remember. I think I've read it when I was doing research for the late nights at the time. But it's, at the time, God rest its soul, RIP.
ExplosionNetwork.com to watch the old episodes.
Past. Press F in chat.
Reruns.
It's gone. By the way, Early Late Nights is cancelled formally.
I think that's the only time we've ever publicly stated that.
Addressed anything to do with Early Late Nights.
They took, I don't know.
It's on a hiatus.
Oh yeah.
Can we put a gone fishing sign?
Do we have to put e-fishing?
E-fishing. Please bear with us while Explosion Network returns to its normal broadcasting.
No, that's the whole point. It isn't returning to its normal broadcasting.
It's not. Okay. It's dead. I'm sorry. I think Counter-Strike is the worst defender for esports when it comes to gambling.
Not cutting it out. Whoa. Not cutting it out. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
I need some water.
I tell you what, this more than anything, this just legitimizes esports more than anything. I mean, if people are cheating at it, you know it's a serious thing. All right? People are being drug tested now. People are failing them. I'm sure there's a bunch of sex scandals and stuff. There's going to be some assaults coming soon. It's going to be a real
fucking
sport.
Hell, Ashley. Holy crap.
He's like, I need to get this show's reins back on track. Let's talk about assaults.
Appreciating the save, but assault's going to happen in esports. It's like, holy crap.
I mean, it happens every other sport.
Esport can be the difference maker, though. We're just a bunch of nerds with our controllers and keyboards.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing bad will happen for them.
I can't remember where I was going for this story, so I'm just going to move on. Next story.
But yes, match fixing is bad.
Match fixing is bad. Okay. That's the moral of the story. Don't match fix. Next story. Aladdin and Lion King are getting remastered. Remasters, this is interesting because it's like such a weird way to announce anything. Remasters for Disney's The Lion King and Aladdin platformers were announced at a GameStop buyers only conference overnight, with 16-bit classics coming to Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. The announcement at GameSpot. Stop. Fuck me, I hate it. Why did these two fucking shit of websites decide we'll call ours GameStop, we'll call ours GameSpot? Fuck off, you Pluto-looking motherfuckers. The announcement at GameStop confirmed by Gamatsu suggests The Lion King and Aladdin remasters are coming away sooner than expected. The leak shows that titles will allegedly be released in Australia this spring, with both titles allegedly featuring the original 1080p resolutions this time, along with the original Sega Master System soundtracks. And then there was a screenshot of the box art, and they're both in one game. They're not separate. They're both inside the same thing. Confusingly, two games of the Disney's Aladdin title were released within the same month in 1993. The first was developed by Virgin Games for the Sega Master System and later ported to the NES, Game Boy Color, and DOS computers. Capcom developed the other title for the SNES, which was later ported to the Game Boy Advance. The most notable visual difference between the two is in Virgin's game Aladdin has a sword. In Capcom's, he does not. So I've played both these games. It does say Disney's Lion King was released 2 years later in 1994 by Virgin, was praised for its beautiful graphics, but was criticized for its tough gameplay, especially given its target audience was quite young. I played both these back when I was a kid. I don't think I finished the first level on either.
I was going to say, do you mean you played the first level? Because both of these games were fucking hard.
Yeah, I played the first level, probably not even halfway, let's be honest, and died several times. And then would get really shitty. And then my nan pop had these consoles at their place. They picked them up from garage sales, so we had something to play down there. Because of course at home we had like PlayStation and whatever else, but they found these and they brought them and they brought some games, and that's what I tried to play down there. Meanwhile, at home I'm playing fucking Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and I go down there and they're like, "Here, play Aladdin and Lion King," and I'm like, "Nan," I'm just yelling and screaming. She's like, "Calm down." I'm like, "No, Simba's a cunt, Nan. Simba's a fucking cunt."
Just fucking jump, Simba.
Just fucking we also had like that Star Wars one, episode 4 game that fucking sucked balls too. Well, let's be honest, every game that I played apart from the Mario games, I could not beat the first level in, I don't think. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that basically summarizes it. I'm excited though for these because the Aladdin game, but they have really great soundtracks. That's kind of like the standout thing and what they're somewhat remembered for, I guess. They did have really cool art style for the time, and I think they did talk about here, or I was reading somewhere else that apparently they're going to have new features in them, so you'd be able to like checkpoints, skip levels, accessibility options to make them easier and these sorts of things. So I might actually be able to finish the fucking games this time, which is going to be somewhat exciting. But yeah, I'm keen to possibly give both of these a go, I think, if not only just because of like a nostalgia factor of I played these when I was a kid and now I would like to beat the first level, maybe. Like, is that possible? Can we make that happen? Yeah. Ciaran, did you try these when you were younger then?
I did try them both. I played them both several times, either when I was a kid or randomly more recently, probably on emulators on PCs at some point. But, I'd be disappointed if they make these games easier. If they make the games easier, I would actually just be flat out.
I don't think they're going to make them easier. I think they're just going to give you options to make them easier.
Maybe add I'd understand maybe add a couple more checkpoints or something, but the actual core gameplay mechanics of the game, I would be annoyed if they got adjusted to be easier.
I think because you're going to be able to play it the OG way if you want, I think, and then if you want to play it easier, which I do, you're probably going to be able to activate that if you wish.
I just want, like when we were young lads, we just got given this game. It was like, no, this game is going to tell you suck. You're gonna toughen up as a kid. You're gonna move on with your life. But we need to do that for today's youth. Today's youth needs to go through that pain as well.
I don't think you can't beat the first level as a good life lesson.
It is. You can't beat the first level. Just stop. Move on to the next thing. Some things in life aren't supposed to be beaten. Lion King and Aladdin, that's one of them.
Ash, do you have any interest in playing old Disney games?
I mean, not really. I mean, I did play them back in the day. They were super hard. I assume there'll be a bunch of checkpoints. It's interesting, like, why now? And they're being together. It's just a.
Are they going to be tie-ins for the movie?
Thing?
Maybe.
Are they going to be? Do you think they're going to tie into the movies?
Yeah, they redesigned the genie to be Will Smith, and they put in the new Jafar. It's going to be great.
They're not going to do that.
No, they're probably no. This is not. I mean, it's just interesting timing, I guess. I suspect if you've got a love for these games, pick them up quick because they're probably not going to be around forever. I believe, like a week or two ago, they pulled DuckTales from every single storefront. I believe you can't buy it anymore.
Yeah, something along those lines.
So yeah, get in quick so you can keep it legally.
Keep it legally.
Otherwise, it's back to the not legal ways to play these games.
All right, Ciaran, since you've been away for some time,
yeah, I know,
we've got a couple of things to talk about.
We do.
And we might as well start with, because I asked, I said, what should we put in the show notes here? And you said, I haven't actually played Overwatch for a couple of weeks, Dylan. But I'm playing Dota, which to me sounds like someone coming.
Is replacing one vice.
It sounds like someone coming up to me and being like, Dylan, quit coke. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that you're finally off drugs. I'm on ice now. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Baby steps.
Yeah, good for you. So
I think it's not that bad. When I read it in the show notes, I was like, it does seem like swapping one vice for another.
yeah, because it is. But yeah, go ahead.
I thought about it a lot because I recently went to Launceston. Dylan and me had a good hanging out. We chilled out. We got to know each other better as friends. I got to meet some of his Tasmania friends.
Friends?
It was a whole thing.
Quotation marks.
Friends. It was the whole thing. But one of the things we talked about was Overwatch, because Overwatch for me at the time was something that was giving me a lot of anxiety. I felt very anxious to play Overwatch. Because I didn't want to get worse. I wanted to get better, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to get better. I played on a competitive team that played in tournaments, and it was like a part-time job. I did practice games Tuesday, Wednesday, Sundays, and then we played tournament games Saturdays. So it was, coming home from work and then playing Overwatch like it was a second job, and I loved the game, and it's what I wanted, but at the same time, it was not the greatest thing for my mental health. So 2 weeks ago, I stopped playing with my team. I played Overwatch for 2 hours the following day, and then I logged out, and I haven't played since. So I should get like a 2-week coin for this. No, so it was really weird because it was the game that I played so much, and I played it every day, and it was just instant lock, and it does sound like a drug addiction. It's really bad.
It does. That's okay. we're here to support you.
I should say that as much as we joke, one thing I did bring up to Ciaran when he was down here is that every time he says stuff about his Overwatch stuff, it always reminds me of when I was into League of Legends, because I played League of Legends every night for about 5-6 hours probably every night. I did have a team, and I used to get really shitty that people wouldn't practice enough because I wanted to get good, and I wanted to at the time get good enough to potentially do something with it. Yep. So I used to spend all time watching, I would do scrims once a week, and would try and do one practice once a week. So all this, it's ticking all the boxes. Then I'd spend a lot of time also then reading articles written by people about every new patch drop and what the difference that made to different weapons, percentages, all this sorts of stuff. And then every weekend I'd spend it watching LCS, which would go for 4 hours or so. So all in all, it's a ridiculous amount of time spent in the game. And the reason I ended up quitting League of Legends is because the anger and anxiety that game caused me by the end was hard to describe to people. And that's the thing. Unless you've actually been, that's the thing. I do fully say to this day, I don't never try to admit it. I consider myself, I consider that I was addicted to League of Legends. Maybe I wasn't addicted the way people get World of Warcraft addicted, but I definitely say that I was addicted to League of Legends because and if I lost matches, because I'd play nothing but ranked, and then I'd stay up all nights. Sometimes my girlfriend would go to sleep at the time and she'd wake up at 8 o'clock next morning, and I'm fucking still playing. And why am I still playing? It's because I lost 20 games in a row, and I refuse to go to bed unless I win 3 in a row. Why can't I win 1 and go to bed? Why can't I just stop and go to bed? You're playing worse even though you're losing them all. But in my mind, I'd set all these ridiculous targets. Well, I'm not going to bed unless I can win 3. And then, of course, I would never win 3. And then I'd get really shitty and I'd play terribly, and then so on and go forth. And this would pretty much continue on and on. I actually cried several times losing, which to people who don't understand, it's hard to comprehend. But I would sit here and get so upset losing ranked games of League of Legends, I would just cry. So as much as we make all the jokes, I do want to say that I do understand the
and thing. It wasn't even... It had got to the point with Overwatch where I wasn't playing, literally the only times I was playing Overwatch was for the scrims, for the matches, and that was it. I wasn't playing Overwatch for the fun of it. I wasn't playing in the competitive ranked mode. I'd literally jump on for 3-4 hours and just be in these scrims. Just be playing for the point of these scrims. And it was a big thing. So I changed that, and then it gave me a lot of weird free time. It's like one of the reasons why I'm on the couch tonight is because I don't have to scrim anymore on Wednesday nights, and that's when we record a lot. And so there's so much, and it almost feels like my week is free now. I have extra time. It's really weird, and so
You replace it with Dota.
So you needed
no,
to fill something.
I haven't replaced it with Dota in the same way. I started by last week. The International 9, which we've already talked about, was on, and so I started watching some, and it was really fun to watch. It felt good because it was like I haven't played this game for years, but I still understand it really well. I still get it. Like, it's still a really fun game. And then I was talking to a friend that played Overwatch because I was playing some Minecraft. I bought another game, which I'll talk about in a minute. And he said, well, if you ever want to play Dota, I'd love for you to teach me. And so literally the last couple nights, I've only started playing it. I reinstalled it yesterday and played for a couple hours yesterday. I played for like 1 or 2 hours after I got work tonight. Where all we've done so far is play bot games, and I've taught him how to play Dota. And for me, it's really amazing. It's really interesting to see somebody who is really good at Overwatch have to, learning such like things that I'm like, this is so fucking simple. Like how to last hit a creep, or how to move around the map, how to use an item, how to look for things in the shop.
It was like when we tried to play Dash, League of Legends.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was. And so it's been really enjoyable just to sit down and watch. I'm playing on a fresh account, so I'm not playing on. I'm not playing any ranked. In Dota, you can't play any ranked games until you played 100 games of normal matchmaking. So, that's the thing where if I get to 100 games on this account, however long it takes, then I can think about, okay, do I want to jump back into a ranked format of a game? Do I actually want to play ranked in a game? And that's why I question it and talk about it. But I've got 100 games, and I've got life changes coming with moving houses and adjusting things for myself that I'm going to start playing more single player games. So the first thing I did the next morning, literally in the following half an hour to me closing Overwatch for the last time for a while. I'll eventually play it again. Let's be honest, but for fun, I hope, rather than competing. So I literally bought Ace Attorney, the Phoenix Wright games.
On what?
On PC, because I knew the remaster came out, and I remember people talking about it. I can't remember actually hearing about it came out, so I looked on Steam. It was right there. I just pressed purchase, and I started playing through them. Which has been, those games are really good. People should definitely buy them or play them if you haven't. If you have, play them again. They're really fun games. I got stuck with a bit of a bug, which kind of sucked, but I managed to fix that one, where it kept resetting days of the trial. So I played like the same day of a trial like 3 or 4 times, which is not the greatest. Objection a lot. But it's the style of the game that I really like. And so it's led me to not having Overwatch has, wow, this feels like I'm like at an intervention or like.
No, it just sounds like one of those recovery interviews.
Yeah, it does. Like, how's your life been after you quit? It's really weird.
Charlie Sheen, how has things changed since you stopped using crack cocaine?
Well, yeah. And it sounds so stupid. It's just a video game, but
it does. It's so funny because like. In case anyone's ever wondered, because I suppose anyone could listen to what I just said and be like, well, if that's how bad you got, and if you thought Ciaran was the same, why didn't you intervene? I'm like, well, I don't know what Ciaran's like. I can't just be pushing.
I'm not as bad. I've never got to that point as Dylan got. Like, I was still logging off at 11 o'clock and just going to bed. And like, I wasn't playing and I could cope with comp. It was more just the fact that it was like a part-time job. And the only people I was really interacting with the people on my team. And I was just, it wasn't a pressure put on anywhere. It was a pressure for me because almost felt like if I wasn't good enough, I was going to lose the people I was hanging out with because I was going to get kicked off the team. And yeah, it was just one of those things.
So you quit first so they couldn't kick you out.
Exactly. totally what happened.
Yeah, smart.
Well, I can, I told Ciaran this when he was down here as well. We talked about it briefly, but I had a friendship group that I had when I was playing League for that 2 years or whatever, and then once I stopped playing League, we stopped talking or whatever. And of course, you know, it was one of those things I can look back on now. It's like, oh, you know, friends come and go, these sorts of things. But at the time, I would definitely credit like knowing that's like, well, if we stop doing this, do we still keep talking? You know what I mean? Like, it plays in your head as a reason to not want to like kind of stop doing it.
Yeah, like it's a big thing. And I'm happy. I'm happy playing Dota. I was happy watching the International. It has one of the most feel good stories of the year. You know, it was good. It's great. So more games. I'm excited for Borderlands. I'm excited for Gears 5. I don't have to like pause Overwatch to play Cyberpunk when it comes out next year. I can just play Cyberpunk for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when it comes out.
And so there was, because in my dark, I call it my dark days, because there's a lot of releases that come out, and it's like whenever I think like, why didn't I play that? I always look up the year and I'm like, oh, it's because when I was on League. There's a bunch of games, and there's only some key ones I stopped playing League for, and it was like Last of Us and then Uncharted 3 or something like that. Like I would stop and play those, and then that was kind of it, and then I'll just go back to playing League.
But you wouldn't stop and enjoy those games. You would rush through them so you could get to League quicker, or did you actually give them the right amount of time?
I would say I gave them the right amount of time. I would say I cared enough about those games that I play. I wasn't like, oh fuck, I better rush through this to get back to League. But it was like the game discovery that I had the years before was stopped. And then it was so funny when I came out the other end and I started playing all these games again. I was kind of like, oh, what's this? And like I actually kind of stopped listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff too, because I started just mostly listening to League related content and stuff. So then I started listening to podcasts again. They're talking about all these games that came out the last 2 years and stuff. I'm like, oh, what's this? Like, oh, Batman Arkham Asylum came out. What is? I'll play this, I guess. Like, this sounds exciting. It was all these. It was like coming out of fucking hibernation. It was quite weird.
No, I'm happy that I didn't get to that point with League with Overwatch. Is, you know, I never ripped my shirt because I was angry about a game or anything. But
this is why. This is why. So, side tangent, because it's kind of what one now. Like because I started playing Pokemon Go, and once again I talked about this, Ciaran here. We're just having all this conversation about it, but on podcast
we had a lot of conversations
on podcast. But like when I started playing Pokemon Go last year, again I was enjoying it, whatever else, and then it got to a stage earlier this year where I felt like I was just playing it too much. And I'll admit that I think because of what happened to me with League of Legends, whenever I start playing something too much, I get afraid. Like, especially if it's got an addictive nature. Yeah. Anything that starts feeling like a job to me, I'm like, oh, this has to stop. And Pokemon Go started feeling like a job to me. And to play that game good, I guess it does have to be a job. You want to fucking open it every day, spin the thing, catch your Pokemon, do a research task. At the moment, they literally have a new event like every week. To be keeping up with that, it takes a ridiculous amount of not only effort and time, but then it's also like mental power to be constantly keeping up with all the fucking events that are coming up, like reading about them, all this sort of shit, blah, 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 blah. And I think there's a big difference between Joe Schmo me, who was just trying to do it as a fun thing on the side, compared to there's Pokemon Go YouTubers who, of course, do all this, but it's their job. And I'm like, if you do this every day, that's fine. You're literally making your living off playing this fucking game. And as far as I know, those people only play it for like 3-4 hours a day, record their video, and then the rest of the day they do other stuff. I don't know. It just seems like they play it all the time. Maybe they don't. But yeah, I reached a point with Pokemon Go where I was like, no, and that's why I stopped playing that game so much. I still do play it, but I definitely purposely
I'd like to
weaned off.
Here for a second and make a public service announcement. If you're ever intoxicated around Dylan Blight and you're a Pokemon Go player, please keep your Pokemon close to you and safe, or Dylan will swindle you out of shiny.
We might as well fuck it. It wasn't a shiny Lugia. It was just a normal one. It was just a normal Lugia. It was fucking. We'll quickly go over this story. So,
what'd you trade it for?
I can't remember. A fucking Squirtle, I think.
It was like garbage.
It was a Squirtle or some shit.
it was something not worth the trade. No. And
so me and Ciaran, quickly to go over this story, we don't need to get into all of it because it'll take way too fucking long. Me and Ciaran are sitting at this place, we're outside drinking, and then my ex-best friend, who of course I've talked about on a million podcasts at this stage, he rocks up, he's fucking high on...
Oh, now I don't feel that.
He's high on a whole bunch of drugs, whatever else he's on, and he starts sitting there. At first he's acting really weird, and Ciaran has a look on his face like he's just some random fucking druggie that stopped, and then I have to be like, Ciaran, I know who this is, it's fine. So then he ends up sitting there for like an hour, probably. His friend turns up, who we discover is actually his boss, and he's younger than him, which is a big deal. And they're yapping a lot of shit, and it's amusing for a while, I'll say. I messaged Ciaran like, if just tell me when you need me to like do something, because it was...
Well, I was like fucking with them the entire time. Yeah. Like they were at the best point of drunk stuff.
Well, I don't know if it was drug. It was definitely drugs.
It was drunk or drugged or whatever. They were at the best point where they were gullible.
At some point, though, they ask about what we do and something like this, and we get onto about video games, of course, somehow. And then they ask if we have a Nintendo Switch. It was like, yeah. And then the dude goes, well, tell me your ID, I'll add you. And then me and Ciaran crack up laughing at the same time. And both of them are staring across the table at me and Ciaran, like literally cracking it. And they're like, what are you laughing about? Can you remember your friend code? 321987761. And the dude's like, oh, yeah. And then he fucking suddenly they whip out their phone. They're like, oh, Pokemon Go. Some reason that these two had recently started playing Pokemon Go. Whatever. They're like, oh, I'm like, yeah. They're like, do you ever play Pokemon Go? Ciaran's like, no, I stopped playing that ages ago. I'm like, yeah, I play Pokemon Go. And then I whip out the phone, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, oh, fuck, I want a Blastoise. I'm like, oh, I've got one spare. So I trade it to one of them. The other one's like, oh, trade me the Blastoise. And I can't because he doesn't have enough Stardust to trade it to me or whatever else.
Because you took the Stardust.
I took the Stardust or something. But then I'm like, I can trade you to Squirtle if you want and you can level it up or something like that. And he's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, what do you want? I look for everything he's got in his phone. I'm like, well, the only thing I really want is Lugia, but you're not going to trade me a Lugia for Squirtle. He's like, okay, just do it. And I'm like, all right. So I traded that Lugia for a Squirtle and I got myself a Lugia. And that's the story of drunk Pokemon Go.
For you PAX goers in a couple of weeks, keep your phone safe on you at all times. Or
talking to you, Paul James.
Paul quit. Paul hasn't played it for like a year. I think. Yeah, I always wonder. I've never actually asked him, but I always wonder if he stopped for a similar sort of like, felt too much like a job reason, stuff like that. Because I know
he was probably the baby.
Yeah, but that plays into part of it for sure. I feel. I mean, that's his question. That's his thing to answer. Speak for himself, of course, if you want to. But should get off this whole fucking thing now. Move on a little bit. Got a couple other things I want to talk about. So, I played Control. It's out this week. Remedy's latest game. I go somewhat in depth into this week's episode of Platinum Explosion if you want to listen to that. And then, of course, I have a review up on explosionnetwork.com as well, so you can read those. But to quickly go over here, of course, since I have actually gone back and since got the Platinum, which meant completing a bunch more side quests and all this sort of stuff. So I have a little bit of different thoughts on it. Better thoughts, which is that game is the biggest lore-infused game I think I have played in quite some time. Like, it is ridiculous with the amount of world building that game does by the time I finished everything. Like, there was complete giant fucking sections that I still had missed by the time I finished it. And I'd done side quests, but there was still some side quests I hadn't done by the time I finished it. I go to this fucking side quest. There's whole areas of this place I hadn't even visited with characters I hadn't even spoke to and stuff like this. I was like, holy fucking shit, this game has so much to it. And then I keep discovering stuff. I'm finding all these fucking collectibles, and it's blowing my mind where literally every collectible I pick up is kind of like got a short story into it. It's like a short horror story about one of the infected items in the game. It was fucking blowing my mind away. So I'm going to try to quickly explain Control again, but with more spoilers this time, because of course when I was talking about Plat, it was the week of release. But now I feel like maybe if anyone's listening to this, if they really care about spoilers, they've probably picked up the game by now, let's be honest. So Control is basically a game where you go as a girl to this building. It's called FBC, the Federal Bureau of Control. You head on upstairs. The director has recently shot himself in the head. Cool. Go over. You pick up the gun. The board then starts talking to you. The board is a fucking like supernatural force inside the gun, and they deem you the director. They tell you you're now the director. So suddenly you're deemed the director by a supernatural force, and you've got that fucking alien crazy gun. Cool story. You go meet up with all these other people. It turns out you've actually got an alien attached to you, basically, or a supernatural force that's constantly talking to you and telling you things. And it's how you got inside the building. You have like an alien pet force attached to you. It's not astral train, but it's a similar sort of thing, I guess. And it also turns out that the reason you're heading into this FBC building in the first place is because you're trying to find your brother, whose name is Dylan. That's my name as well, because you didn't know. And he disappeared when you were a young child because you and your brother, when you were like teenagers, found a projector somewhere which you touched, and it turned out it took you to a supernatural different astral plane, and then it caused a supernatural event in this town somewhere, and then the FBC turned up and they took your brother Dylan and fucked off while you ran away. So for years you've been looking for your brother. You discover he's now probably at the FBC. You head in there to find him. You just got deemed a director. You find someone. You say, where the fuck's my brother? They say, he's imprisoned here somewhere. You should probably go find him. And you're like, cool, I'll go do this. You then learn that everyone in the building is being controlled by a supernatural force called the Hiss, which is infecting everyone and turning them into goons and wanting to fight you and do all sorts of crazy shit. And then you have to kill all them. And oh boy, golly, you have no idea how fucking crazy this game gets.
Man, that sounds like the crazy plot of an anime TV show.
Basically, yeah. I can't. Every time I try and think about how hard it is to explain control, I'm like, you can start very simple, which is what I tried to do in Plat, and ignore like any sort of symbols. It's like, it's a girl, she's going there, she gets do the thing. The second you're like, yeah, the girl's got a supernatural fucking alien force or some sort. It's not alien, but it's like a supernatural force that talks to her and that led her there. And then there's fucking a supernatural board. It's like not actual board of the company. It's a board, like it's from a different alternative plane. And now, before I talk about the next thing I've been playing, I've got to say that this is, I would say it's an Easter egg that's within Control that you may consider a spoiler or a spoiler not. I don't really know. I've seen heaps of article headlines since release of the game that have said literally what I'm about to say in the headline of the articles. So I'm going to go for it. Sure, why not? There are a bunch of Alan Wake Easter eggs in Control that pretty much confirm that both games take place in the same universe. I'm not going to give away, I'm not going to spoil what they all are beyond that, but there is enough. I'm not talking one Easter egg. I'm talking a lot of Easter eggs that, as someone who tried to play Alan Wake back in the day, my computer crashed and I lost my save file, and I was like, fuck this shit. When you lose a save file and you're like, that pisses me off, and it kind of forces you not to start playing the game. You know that feeling? That's what happened to me in Alan Wake. But as someone who only played a couple hours of it, it actually, even with the little I know about Alan Wake, I was still recognizing enough from these Easter eggs I was finding. And one in particular is so fucking just in your face about it that's hard to ignore. A bunch of articles have been put up about this and how it all works out together. And of course, it's super interesting history-wise, because a couple months ago, we actually talked about the fact that Remedy got the rights back. They brought the rights back for Alan Wake. They now own that. They got that back off Microsoft. They don't have the publishing rights for Alan Wake. Like, they can't suddenly publish Alan Wake on different platforms, but they do have the rights for the character back. So that's how that makes this super interesting, because it's like maybe now they're actually setting up their own sort of universe with a bunch of their different games and this sort of thing. So this made me want to go back and start up Alan Wake, which is how I got to starting Alan Wake. So I booted up Alan Wake. I'm doing a Let's Play series on youtube.com/Explosion Network, because that makes me feel better about playing an old game, because I'm like, I'm doing content at the same time, so it's not a complete waste of time. So that's why I started playing Alan Wake, which I'm, I don't know how far I'm in, probably 3-4 hours in or something like that, I think, at this time. And I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. I definitely feel like it's like the writing and the action and the combat and all that sort of stuff is quite fine. You know, you flashlight the enemies to break their shields, basically, and then you shoot them with a pistol and all that sort of stuff. It's still fun. It's still spooky. Of course, it's an Xbox 360 game, so some of the character animations and graphics, of course, looks a little bit old. And I mean, I clicked Ultra and it's still like, okay, this doesn't look like the Ultra to me, but sure, whatever. And I'm having fun with that. So, Alan Wake, Control, Remedy, Entertainment, what a company. What a time. And then the last thing that I've been playing quickly is called Never Give Up, which was released by Massive Monster and Armor Games. No, it's the publisher. Jeez, I can't remember. Anyway, they were at PAX last year when we were there. You played this, didn't you, Ash? Was you just there?
No, I watched Buddy play.
Okay, you watched Buddy play.
Buddy Watson of dashgamer.com.
We did put up a video with him in it as well from last year. They had one level on the show floor that you could play. I think it gave you 5 minutes to try and beat it or something like that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
That's the first level that was at PAX is actually the first level that's in this game as well. The game is hard. The game is very hard. I think by the time I completed the second level, I died over 100 times because, of course, it keeps a death counter for you. It's kind of like Super Meat Boy, except for the levels are... Super Meat Boy is, in case you don't know, Super Meat Boy is a 2D side scroller that was super hard, and you had to like wall jump and across all these spikes and do all this sort of crazy stuff. And of course, that game was designed to have you die lots because every time you died, there'll be a blood splatter, and it would kind of be left there for the next version of Super Meat Boy when you respawn to come back. This game does that same sort of thing. So every time you die as your little character, be that on spikes or spinning saw blades or whatever the fuck else, laser beams, fire, all this sort of shit, blood will be left there. And then by the time you finish the level, if you've died over 100 times like I have, there is literally a blood bath of fucking shit everywhere. But the difference between this and Super Meat Boy is that each level, you just play through the same level 5 or 6 times. And how it works is you start, you go in, and it'll be rather simple. Like there's just one saw blade in the middle and maybe one laser or something like that. And you get through to the door at the end. When you go through the door, you come back to the start level, and suddenly they're like, well, how about 2 saw blades now? And then we've taken out this part here, and now it's lava. So you do all that and you go through a door, come back. It's all lava. There's 4 lasers. There's 16 fucking saw blades. You know what I mean? Like it just continues. So every time you're playing the exact same level, but it just continuously gets harder and harder, which I would actually say I prefer to Super Meat Boy, and it's kind of the reason I push through this, and I'll potentially go back to it as much as it made me want to throw my controller out the fucking window, which it did. I've going to have the video is going up tonight, the episode of this post at 6 p.m. tonight. If you're listening to this day release, youtube.com/Explosion Network, I'll have a Let's Play going up of the first couple levels of that. The game makes me want to fucking throw my controller out the window. It's really hard. But the reason I actually enjoy it more than Super Meat Boy is because it teaches you better. Because Super Meat Boy is just like kind of push your head against a wall and try it over and over and over. Whereas this, because you actually do replay the same level over and over and over, it slowly teaches you how to take several different jumps, and then makes the jumps harder, and then makes the jumps harder. But you're learning how to kind of do them as it progresses, and you're not just hitting your head against the wall, if that makes any sort of sense. So I kind of prefer that. It does. The game suggests you play on hard, which has no checkpoints. I switched it to easy. You can see that in the video. And that adds checkpoints after certain points, which I'm fine to play on easy. It's still fucking hard enough. Thank you very much. There's actually a difficulty above hard, which means that once you die, it's permadeath. Insanity. I don't think it's actually possible.
What?
I don't think that's actually fucking possible. Like, if anyone does that, no, you're a fucking hacker or some shit. I don't believe that's actually possible.
In before, welcome to the speed running of Never Give Up, blindfolded with one death.
It'll happen because at the end of every time you finish the level, it actually gives you what would you call it, like lap, you know, like breakdown for laps, like scores for each thing. Like, so it's perfectly made for speed running, and that's probably going to happen. But you know, for me, who's dying over 100 times to complete one fucking level and like wanting to fucking hit my head against my screen and fucking die, the game's quite thing. Also, the comedy helps because the character actually speaks, and it'll say things like, it'll be like fuck, but it's bleeped, and you'll go down the saw and it'll be like, oh, my pelvis, like a little bit of comedy to help not keep you super angry. I guess that helps out a little bit. But yeah, I got that on Switch, and I would not suggest playing that in handheld mode because you'll probably crush your Switch in your hands and throw it out the window. Play it with a Pro Controller. True story.
True story.
Thank you so much for joining us on the couch this week. Make sure you check out explosionnetwork.com for all our other shows, reviews, news, and much more, including all the stuff I just mentioned. You can review Arcade Couch on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser to help out the show, or simply leave a review and a tweet it at us. We'll retweet it. We'll be like, oh, thanks, smiley face, insert GIF here, or something like that. You can follow Explosion Network and do all those things at Explosion Board, and you can join our Discord at explosionnetwork.com/ Discord. Follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, VIVAL8DIL. You can follow Ash on Twitter at AshLeby, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You follow Ciaran on Twitter at YupBoyRingo. And we will see you here, same time, same couch, next week. Bye-bye.